What is happening, sports fans? It is your main man, Matt, from the DFS 5-pack, rocking it solo. Saturday, August 29th. Ryan has already done covering NBA. I got MLB. Let's crush it. Apparently, a lot of the weather concerns we had earlier in the day are no more, so you don't have to really worry about that. And before I hit up DK, I'm going to shout out Overlay. I'm pumped about Overlay right now. They got a new contest, new sort of contest dropping soon, potentially as soon as next week. I'm hyped about it. I've talked with them for a long time this morning, getting me juiced. I'm going to be all over there, especially when football starts. They got some great stuff going on. So if you haven't checked them out, go holler at overlaydfs.com, and you can catch me over there too. All righty. As far as DK goes, I'm going to do this. Sometimes I do this over the weekends when Ryan and I split it up. I'm going to do this as like a members only video for the public. So I'm going to combine both videos instead of picking out, my 5 favorite plays. I'm just going to break down the whole slate, kind of an abbreviated version because it's the weekend. My wife is bugging me, so I don't want to spend too long up here, but let's get it. We got kind of a short slate because the games are split up today. So let me screen share this and we will be on our way. Alrighty, so pitching options are pretty weak here because there's a bunch of good hitting spots. So starting at the top, I've been impressed with how Seattle has played recently, and Bundy has not been spectacular his past couple starts. He was shitty against the Giants and then was meh against the A's. It's hard not to look at him on this slate. I mean, our options are just not good. Again, bunch of good hitting spots, especially for a 6-game slate. The pitching options are just weak. This is definitely going to be a slate where the bats win it. Moving on down to Lance Lynn. I'm a Lance Lynn fan, and honestly, I can definitely get on board with him today. The Rangers won this game last night. The Dodgers offense looked pretty off. Could not do much with runners in scoring position. It's an awful spot for Lynn. I mean, the one thing he's susceptible to is lefty power. There might not be a team in the league with more lefty power, so it's scary for sure. But he's the best pitcher on the slate, by a good amount. So just with that alone, he's in play for me. I don't feel great about it, but he's in play. And it's kind of the opposite with Stripling. He's been shitty this year. I've watched him a bunch, and he has not looked good. I'm not really excited about using him in any matchup. However, he is in Texas facing the Rangers, potentially, a top 3 matchup in baseball right now. So kind of the opposite of these two guys. Yeah, it's difficult. I like Lynn more than Stripling, even in a more difficult matchup. Stripling's just not an $8,400 pitcher to me. I could see using both pitchers in this game, though, also. Our options are just that weak. All right. Luke Weaver, for sure in play for me here. Just saw this Giants team, was pretty good. Nothing crazy, but he's basically the same price. Now on a slate with really weak options. He's on the short list, no doubt about it. Justice Sheffield, man, this seems like it has blow-up spot written all over it. That being said, man, Sheffield's been pretty damn good. He's got good stuff. The Angels aren't world beaters right now. They've got a couple guys that really scare you here. Obviously, Trout and Rendon. But overall, it's not the worst matchup in the world. On a normal slate, I wouldn't really be looking here. I probably don't land here on this slate, but I don't hate it. Gotta sneeze, guys. Excuse me. Alrighty. Moving on down. And Anibal Sanchez. There was weather, concerns earlier today in this game. Apparently, they're not really. It's not really a trouble spot anymore. I mean, Sanchez had been awful before that start against Miami. I know Boston. Much has been made about Boston's, shittiness this year, for lack of a better word. But this still is not a great spot for Anibal here. Again, kind of like Justice Sheffield. I don't hate it because of the slate. But man, you don't get the warm and fuzzies roster on either of these guys. They're surely in play, though, because there just aren't many options, as I've mentioned a couple times now. All right. Senzatella, that's going to be a hard no. I mean, Senzatella had been pitching well until he got blown out by the Dodgers. This is a blow-up spot, again, written all over it for him against San Diego. I want nothing to do with Senzatella tonight. I mean, San Diego's got to be the top stack on paper here, if nothing else. Brett Anderson, yeah, I mean, insert pitcher facing Pittsburgh here. Like, he's not great, and I have a feeling he'll probably get love here, but he's got to be in play. He's 6,400. I mean, I could probably put up 15 against this Pirates team, so it's not asking him too much to just give us, like, somewhere between 15 and 18 here. Adrian Morejon, no thanks. I mean, he did not look good last time out. The Rockies are right there with the Padres as one of the top stacks on the board. Trevor Cahill, was really good against Arizona last time out. This has a lot of Tyler Anderson on it for me. Like, Tyler Anderson also pitched well against Arizona last week. Really struggled last night. I could see the same thing with Cahill. I don't really want to use him here. I don't think he's crazy because I'd rather use him than Morejon or Senzatella. He's in the same group as Anibal Sanchez and Sheffield. I mean, Arizona's offense isn't really any more scary than the other two. So I get why people would get to Cahill. I also think that if he ends up getting love, I'd have some interest in Arizona bats. Brubaker. I'm not using Brubaker. I'm not, like, excited about Milwaukee bats either, though. Baza. No. He's going to go 3 innings max, and then you're going to get that Boston bullpen. The Nationals got to be in play here. All right, let's look at some offenses, though. Pitching is weak. Bats are going to win this slate. You just don't want your pitchers to get blown up here, which is why I feel good about Lance Lynn. Dodgers could hit a couple home runs, but I don't think he gets shelled. Got to sneeze again, guys. Hold on. All right. Sorry about that, guys. If I was a professional video maker, I would cut that part out, but you guys can live with it. I want to get this video out so you guys can watch it. With NBA on today, it might be tough for you guys to find time anyways. So I want to get this out. As far as bats from this game go, I mean, listen, I don't mind a couple Dodgers because Lynn gives up lefty power, but I have more interest in Lynn than the Dodgers. The Rangers looked pretty good last night, and Stripling has not looked good. I have a feeling Stripling gets a lot of love here too. So, yeah, I could see using a couple Texas bats in big tournaments, in like that big $18 tournament where first place gets the nuts. I could see using a couple Texas bats. They have some power. Chu had a good night last night. Gallo, obviously, massive power. Don't hate that. Yeah, honestly, in tournaments, I'd have more interest in the Rangers bats than I do the Dodgers bats. Just what it is. Dodgers are also really, really expensive, and they were not good last night. They're on my bad side. Again, they do have what gets to Lance Lynn. I just think Lynn is really good, so no thanks from me. Pittsburgh and Milwaukee. Another guy I think gets love is Brett Anderson, but where are you really going on Pittsburgh? Nowhere is the answer. They're awful. I've said it. I think Texas has a better offense than the Pirates. I'll stick to it. Pittsburgh is just so awful. That doesn't mean that they won't hit around Brett Anderson a little bit, but I can't give you like a guy that I really like on their team, except for maybe Stallings. I mean, maybe like he's been okay and he's 2,900, but I mean, I'm certainly not running there. And as far as Milwaukee goes, they're fine against Brubaker. Nice night last night for them. I know Gierko hit 2 homers. Braun homered. Urias had a nice game. I mean, I think Urias, and I've been saying this, should be hitting at the top of this lineup. So hopefully they saw something last night, double digits in back-to-back games. I like him no matter what. If he's leading off, yeah, all formats. Washington, Washington was really, really good last night. Did a lot. I know people that were on them cashed nicely. Their big guns are pretty expensive. Like Turner, he's really good, though, as you can see by the game log. I mean, he big-time power, big-time speed upside with some power to boot. So I can definitely get on board with him. Juan Soto, I mean, he homered again last night, only 1 for 5, but still. And then like their cheaper guys, Howie Kendrick's 3,800, Eric Dames is 3,700. What is up with Dames right now? He'll be in the lineup today. He should be. Again, Cabrera's too expensive at 4,600. Only used him in a stack. What about our guy Garcia? He's 3,200 now. Yeah, I mean, he's certainly no longer a must now that he's priced up, but I don't hate it, especially if you're stacking Washington. And as far as Boston goes, Anibal had not been good before that last start, so maybe that was a turning point for him, or maybe it was just a lucky start against a cold Miami team. Either way, I mean, the usual suspects for Boston, they're pretty top-heavy. Devers is good. He's much better than those numbers say he is. Verdugo, hitting at the top of this lineup. I don't mind Boston. They're certainly not the most optimal stack. Oh, yeah, and also in Washington, Adam Eaton's a solid filler piece in all formats. So I think there should be some offense in this next game, Colorado and San Diego. We saw both teams, San Diego specifically, have nice nights last night. Don't think they hit any home runs. Colorado only hit 1, but San Diego did put up 8 runs. Hard not to go right back here. I mean, they're a little bit priced up, but, I mean, Hosmer's been really good. Check the game log. He just looks good. Tatis is, probably the NL MVP right now. Manny Machado, hottest hitter in baseball. I mean, it is hard to get away from these guys here. I'm someone who never likes to play Coors when it's chalky like this. And I don't really want to play it here, but there's no doubt that the spots these guys are in are really good. I know he's not facing a lefty, but Will Myers has just been awesome. 4 for 5 last night. Just crushing the ball. Our boy Cronenworth. I mean, this whole lineup's in play. We'll have to wait and see what the lineup looks like. They're not like crazy expensive all over. They're not really cheap either. And this is a game with some weather concerns. Not big concerns, but some concerns. I mean, it's hard not to say that the San Diego offense isn't the top offense on paper today. It's just what it is. If you're playing cash games, you want exposure. Tournaments go nuts. It's a definite fade at your own risk type of situation. As far as Colorado goes, I also like them. Let's check this out. Morejon did not look good last time out. Sorry, I forgot his name for a second. And Arenado is back to being kind of the guy we know and love. Double digits in 3 straight. I'm all about him here. In tournaments, I think I'd rather have Colorado than San Diego. That's assuming that San Diego gets more love. Our boy Trevor Story, I mean, he's a little bit cheaper than Tatis. Always has massive power and speed upside. Both sides of this game wildly in play. It's just a question of whether you want to swallow that ownership. In cash games, you want exposure here, no doubt. In tournaments, do what you want. Like I said, it's a fade at your own risk. And again, that's a call that each individual person has to make. Personally, I don't like to play Coors when it's chalky. But on a 6-game slate, it's hard not to have at least a little bit of interest. That's for sure. Arizona and San Fran. I like Weaver here, not really looking at Giants bats. He's really cheap, but no. I think San Fran gets no love. That's the one thing they have going for them here is they will get no love. But I don't really want to use them. As far as Arizona goes, again, they had a nice night last night. No home runs, but they had a nice night against Tyler Anderson in the Giants' pen. I could see them doing something similar here. I'm an Arizona fan. I'm kind of stubborn with them. At some point, they're going to break out. They're just really good in my eyes. They're much better than they've showed so far this year. The year's already halfway done, so it might not happen, but I expect it to. Usual suspects for Arizona in play for me. The Marte brothers, they're not actually brothers, but their last name is Marte. Escobar is very affordable. Christian Walker. Yeah, he'd been really good. So I'm fine with Walker here for sure. Again, another team where I want to wait on the lineup, and it's more like I like them as a stack as opposed to individual one-offs. That game's not on the slate. And then last but not least, Seattle and LA. And I think this is a big time wild card game. So let me take this one off. All right, cool. So first off, Bundy versus Sheffield. Talked about these pitchers already. Bundy's, one of the top options on the slate. I think Lynn is a better pitcher, but Bundy's in the much better matchup. That being said, Seattle's been very feisty recently. Andrew Heaney was really good last night, so I understand why anyone wants to just go with Bundy here. I mean, listen, he was really good against Seattle last time he faced them. It's hard not to look at Bundy here. Seattle bats only are really a leverage play. Again, J.P. Crawford's been good recently, and he runs. Kyle Lewis, I'm not really looking to spend 4,900 on him. For me, it'd be mostly just not using Bundy, not too interested in the Mariners. I don't hate some Mariners pieces because they're affordable, just not like a stack I'm dying to. I'm like running to here. The Angels, on the other hand, I could see Sheffield struggling here. I feel like the Angels got a big game in them soon, kind of like the Indians last night. Trout homered late. I mean, this is a great spot for him against the young lefty. Ohtani's been a much better recently, and he's gone hot and cold like a bunch of times this year. I like that he's swinging a hot bat. Even our guy Justin Upton, and Ryan and I have talked about Upton, seems like for years and years at this point. He's one of the most notorious hot and cold guys out there. When he's going well, he looks like an all-star. When he's not, he looks awful. He's seeing the ball well right now. Only one strikeout each game in his past, 3 that he's played. 3 for 4 last night. He should be in the lineup here against a lefty. Joe Adele, he's been very sluggish since coming up. They definitely expected more from him. He's one of the top prospects in all of baseball. I can get on board with all those guys. Obviously, Anthony Rendon. He's cooled down a little bit since he was scorching, but it's a good spot for him to get going again. I mean, Pujols is 3K. I'm not a big Pujols fan at this point. He doesn't do much anymore, but in a stack, he's 3K here. And then Ben Boom is 2,600. I mean, listen, he's not great, but catcher is always weak, and he fits the stack. The Angels are top-heavy, and those are the guys I'd want if I went there. But I don't think they're bad plays at all. Fletcher leading off. No more La Stella. He got traded to Oakland. I mean, it goes without saying that Trout, no time. That Trout and Rendon are their top 2 plays with, Rendon right after them. That is what I got for you guys. Again, I'll be around all afternoon if you got questions. If you want a day pass, check us out. If you want to see more videos, more content, more of me, more of Ryan, go check out the DFS5pack.com. And have a great weekend, guys. Thank you.